can't believe that on my federal return, my federal annuity, they didn't withhold state or federal taxes. They
think
always
you have
have
to-
before.
You have to tell them to, I think.
No,
All
but
right,
they
we're
always
live.
have before.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so, um, hi there, it's Sally and Barbara and Laura, and we're
Hello.
here at El Cajon Sewing Back, and we are going to talk to you today. Oops, a little move here. There we go. All right, we're going to move, talk. That's what we're going to do. Talk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know I had the phone in my hand. Yeah. I'm doing really well today.
we're going to talk to you today
Okay,
about thread.
Thread, correct.
And we have a wide selection of thread in the store, not just colors, but different weights, different types of thread. And so we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the different types of thread and how you would use them. So let's start with, where should we start with, Barbara? We'll start with this big one, because that's right here. Now this is a bonded nylon. Now this is by Filtech. It's a very strong, heavy-duty thread. It doesn't break very easily at all. I'll probably cut my fingers before I break the thread. I would use something like this for upholstery.
Yeah.
Or outdoor furnishings.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Because it's a very strong thread and it's a very durable thread. Now, it is light enough that it will go through your sewing machine just fine. It says Tex 45, which Sally was just looking up. The difference between the tex of a thread and the weight of a thread, they're inverse. So tex means out of 1,000 meters.
No, wait. Tex is,
How many grams does 1,000 meters weigh? She's double checking.
1,000 meters. The weight in grams of 1,000 meters, correct?
Right. So on this one, if you had 1,000 meters of this thread, it would weigh 45 grams, which is almost 2 ounces, a little less. Now this is another upholstery thread. This one's by Coates and Clark, and this one.
And that bonded nylon thread that you just had,
Mhm.
that is actually, so that converts to about 20 weight.
Okay, good to know. Now
So,
weight is in 1,000 kilometers. How much does it weigh in
how many?
kilograms?
Correct.
So 1,000 kilometers, that's a lot of thread, and a kilogram is a lot of weight. But you can think of that as, if I have a great big rope, it's not going to take as many lengths to make the weight. If I have a very skinny little rope, I'm going to need a ton of lengths to make the weight. So when you're talking about the weight of thread, the smaller the number, the fewer lengths you need to make the required weight, the bigger the thread. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's another one that's also called, that you could see, you might see. We don't see it that often, I don't think, and it's called denier. D-E-N-I-E-R.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the weight in grams of 9,000 meters of thread.
Now that is a very odd
Yeah.
way to measure something, denier. Huh.
Yes, so
Okay.
those are the numbers, things that you'll see. And you might see NO50 or pound, like pound sign 50, or
That's
NO 100 or pound sign 100.
That's representing the weight of the thread, correct? Okay. So all these things to look for when you're looking at a spool of thread. And you might think, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just use whatever. Well, it does matter. It depends on the type of project that you're doing. Like I said, with this thread, you said this was like a 20 weight thread?
That's like a 20 weight.
So that's fairly heavy. It will go through your machine.
So it's really nicely,
It's a really
doesn't
nice
break.
thread. Yeah.
but it's bonded nylon. And
Right.
I
Super
in
strong.
my creative icon, I use it in the top and bobbin.
Oh, nice.
It's very nice for bag making and things
Oh,
like
I
that.
could see that. It would hold those seams really well. You're not going to pop those seams.
Yeah.
That would be good. Now, this Coates and Clark is reported as an outdoor thread, which I would assume, don't know.
I believe it is heavier.
Well,
little
let's see.
heavier.
It doesn't give me a weight. It just says MX. But I think the outdoor thread, if I'm not mistaken, it has a UV coating on it.
Does
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't break down.
right, so it doesn't break down. Like your normal threads, you're not supposed to store them in direct sunlight.
No, and they'll
Because-
also fade.
They will break down. So those are our two heavy duty threads. Then
Well, now, just so you know, we don't necessarily have all these threads in the store necessarily.
we do at the moment.
Well, so far everything, but not everything that you'll pass by here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Right, well, we do have these two.
The Coates and Clark outdoor living thread is 12 weight, I believe.
Okay. So that's a little thicker than the bonded nylon,
Yes.
a little heavier. Okay. Then we
Yep, 12 weight.
have
That is the answer to that.
a variety of cotton threads. Now, some of these we no longer carry. These are the Sulky Blendables. They're a really nice variegated thread with an irregular pattern to the variegated colors. Very nice threads. We might have a few spools out there, but Barbara's shaking her head saying no.
No,
we don't have any more of that.
any of it.
Okay, so we're not gonna talk about those.
Well,
They were really nice though.
I put them there for a reason,
Okay.
because the reason we were going to talk about them is because they're 12 weight. What weight were there? There's 12 weight and 30 weight threads.
Yes.
So
So this one's 12
So I
weight.
got it out
This one's
because there's a
30 weight.
reason. So there's 12 weight and there's 30 weight cotton thread. So 12 weight, you need to use a heavier needle if you're using a 12 weight thread.
Like a top stitch needle.
And you can even see visually that the
Yeah.
light one, which is the 30 weight,
I'm going to go to 1 so you
is
can show that.
thinner than the 12 weight, which is the blue one.
Right. So, it's cotton, so you need to clean your machine out frequently because it'll lint up your machine, the cotton threads will.
Mm-hmm.
Variegated, which give you a nice look when it's variegated. It is, the 12 weight probably doesn't break too easily. The 30 weight will break easily because it's a fairly thin thread.
It
Because
is.
30 weight is very thin. So that I definitely would not use that for sewing.
Oh yeah, it does break very easily.
So you would, that's
I use
more
it
of a
mostly
quilting
for
thread or decorative
Yeah.
stuff. So the 30 weight cotton thread would be something that you use for a decorative type purpose.
And I would think the cotton thread would break easier.
I believe cotton thread is probably going to break easier than
the
a
polyester.
poly thread. Now,
Yeah.
why would that be, would you think?
Because they're stranded fibers instead of extruded fibers.
Correct. So the fibers are shorter,
Yeah.
so they would have less strength. So that's a very good answer to that question. Correct.
And then
Carry on.
the Wonderfill, that's the variegated for Wonderfill on cotton.
On cotton, those are long staple threads. So that's a 50 weight cotton, so that's probably going to be a little bit stronger. So that's not going to break quite
It
as
does feel
easily.
a little stronger. It's still cotton thread.
It's still a
But
cotton
you know-
thread.
You want to use cotton thread if you're making anything that goes in the microwave. It has to be 100% cotton thread.
Right, so you
cotton batting,
could-
cotton
so-
fabric.
You certainly can. I would use the 50 weight cotton if I was making
Quilts.
microwave stuff, like any kind of thing like that.
Yeah, like
So
the bowl
it's strong
cozies
enough
or-
to make a bowl cozy or something like that, because that is going to hold up and not, your seam is not going to break, because you can feel
Right.
that it's not going to break as easily. So it's a 50 weight thread, so same weight as your Mettler. I think we have a spooler Mettler there that's poly. That's also a 50 weight thread. So that's the same weight as the gray
yeah.
Mettler. So that's the same weight thread as that thread. Those two threads are the same weight, 50 weight and 50 weight. I can't see. I'm under one, but you can't see it there. If you bring that camera one down a little bit, we might be able to see that more clearly.
What's that?
That's good. Yeah. So you can see those. One of the things I was reading about when you're looking at weight threads, it says you can use your eyes to kind of tell, how thick
Which
the thread is.
Well, yeah, let's
And
look
you
at
want to
So
make
you don't ever
sure.
have your glasses on.
that you don't drop it on the floor.
True. And also, you want to make sure that it's pulling through your needle, the eye of your needle easily.
Yes.
Right.
Now, another interesting point is, if the eye of the needle is too big, so that your thread is thin and floppy,
It won't.
going through. I can zoom in, I believe. Hold your horses. And there we go. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
So the top two, the green and the purple, are 50 weight, and the variegated down here is 12 weight.
Yeah, so it's a
So you
thicker
can
thread.
see that it is a thicker thread. May not be able to see it too well, but it is
No,
a
you
thicker
could-
thread.
Yeah, it's thicker
And
thread.
if you were feeling it, if you were in the store and actually feeling it, you would see that.
So if your thread is too floppity in the needle, meaning, so the eye of the needle is too big for your thread, and your thread is moving too much in your needle,
It's not gonna sew right.
I'll come back to 2,
Okay.
or I'm on 3 actually.
Okay.
Then you might be skipping stitches, or you might be shredding threads, because it's moving around too much in the eye of the needle. So you probably want to have a needle eye that the thread is just going through and moving through nicely, smoothly, but not too big. So top stitch needles are nice because they have a big eye, but that's not necessarily a big advantage if the thread is very small compared to that eye of the needle. That may cause your stitches to be sloppy because it's not going past the eye of your
Oh, okay. You keep talking. I'm gonna grab this.
it's not gonna go when your hook grabs the thread. It's not gonna be as neat.
It won't be. Yeah, it'll be
So
too
you
loose
might
in
have
there. So you'll have.
sloppy stitches.
Yeah,
Or you might have skipped stitches.
or what they have called eyelash on the bottom.
Correct. So I have switched to using a smaller needle. You want me? Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. Okay, perfect.
So this is, this is the eye of the needle.
Right, you want me to zoom in?
Yeah, let's go to the other camera. I
Okay.
think it's better.
Ooh, man. There, oops, almost.
There we go. Okay, so here's the eye of the needle. And if you have, I'm going to use this one because it's a thick thread and this is a gigantic needle. It's a demonstration needle. Okay, if you have a thin thread that's running through your needle, what Sally's talking about is it has all of this
Down.
play and can
You're
bounce
too
around.
high up. You're too high up.
Yep. Okay. So it has all of this play and can just bounce around in the eye of the needle.
And that can cause some problems, and that can cause thread shredding, and that can cause skip stitches
Well,
and thread breakage.
especially because thread is actually abrasive and it can
Right.
cause a little groove to be ground into this part of the needle. So as you use it, yeah, it's going to shred your thread.
Yeah, so so I have been taken to using a 70 weight, a size 70 needle with a smaller eye. You know, it doesn't necessarily have a smaller eye, but I have I have switched off the top stitch, and I have had better success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, pretending that this is thread, it's not, but this is a giant needle.
And see how it
It
kind of
it snugs
that
in the
it
groove.
snugs in that groove, and that way it's going, when it's in that groove, it's going through the fabric, so it's hiding in the needle, going through in the needle when it goes through the fabric.
Right.
And if it's flopping around, it's not going to hide in the needle as well either. I
Right.
don't think.
Right, and you're going to get
It's
skip
going to hide in
stitches,
the
I would
wrong
think, too.
side. Going to be somewhere where it doesn't belong. So anyway, so that is
You're right.
the story of that. So that's why you might change your type of needle or use a smaller eyed needle. But if you're using 12 weight thread or a heavy thread, you might want to use a top stitch needle, because if it's not pulling through, if you can't pull the thread through your needle, sewing machine needle, smoothly, then neither can your sewing machine.
Right, it's not a
So-
magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I like that you brought up it's the type of needle, not the size of the needle. So the jeans needle is usually a larger needle, but it has a larger eye.
right.
Just because it's a
But if it's a
90 weight
size
needle,
70 needle, I don't think the eyes of the needle are necessarily
They're not that
larger from the
different.
70 to the 80 to the 90 needle
right?
if it's a universal, or if it's a jeans, I think the
Then it
needle
has
eye is a
higher
little
one. Little larger.
larger. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so
Like the
that's
top
a
stitch has
way.
a little larger.
I have not been having as much thread shredding with because I really like the Afina 60 weight thread cotton for my stitching, because it makes a really flat seam, but it would shred I was using a 90 needle,
Oh, yeah.
90 universal. I switched over because Bernadette from Wonderful said switch to a Microtex 70. Switch to a Microtex 70. It's making a beautiful stitch because it's using, it's a smaller needle with a smaller eye.
And it's fitting in that
It's
groove.
fitting
and
in that groove
the
and
eye.
fits right. It's
Nice.
just as better. So anyway, so that's
Okay.
a tip for you there. So what else do we have?
That's a good tip. Okay. I'm going to put these down here. Next, we have a different kind of thread. This is called Metroflock, and this one is called Woolly
woolly
Nylon.
So woolly nylon and Metroflock are both stretchy serger threads. You will only use them in your serger.
In the loopers, right?
Yeah, you don't
Yes.
use it in a needle
Right.
on your serger or your sewing machine, either one. Now, you can use it in your sewing machine if you hand wrap a bobbin.
Would you have to wrap it loosely to keep it fluffy?
No, you don't. You would want to wrap it
Or just normal?
kind of normal, but not with super tension. You would not You don't
wouldn't
want to put
pull
a
it when
lot
you
of
wrap it,
tension,
you would
but
just
you would
wrap
just
it.
wrap it.
No pulling.
Okay.
And when you would use it is if you would, on a,
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
so you would use it with a twin needle.
Oh,
So if you were doing a
T-shirt.
if you
hem.
were doing a t-shirt hem to mimic a serger hem, so you would be doing a twin needle with a serger. I mean, not a serger, but with a twin needle with a sewing machine.
right.
You might want to use woolly nylon or the Metroflock. The Metroflock does not, and there's another stretchy one. I believe
was a Maxilock or
Maxilock,
Signature, one of the two.
Maxilock makes a stretch.
Okay.
They do not stretch as much as woolly.
Okay.
For
Woolly-
the
woolly really
hem,
stretches a lot.
for the hem, the Metroflock and the Maxilock might work better, possibly, than the woolly. The woolly works really nicely for a rolled edge
On a serger.
on
Yeah,
a serger.
I could see that
because it
because
feels really
it,
nice.
it's going to come in
It's gonna come in
flat
really
And
stretched,
fill it
And
in
then
better.
when
and then whoop,
it goes
plop
puffy,
up and
Yeah.
really
and it'll
puff.
fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
That's a nice idea. I like that.
Yeah, the other one, but I really like the look of the Metroflock. Makes a really nice, pretty, because it's shinier and it's a shinier.
Well,
I'm
it's
gonna
a more
go to
polished
I'm
looking
gonna go to
thread
one.
too.
because I'm gonna zoom out a little bit
Because
here.
this one, it's got all kinds of
It's
crinkles and stuff in it.
fluffy,
It's
and
fluffy.
the other one makes a nice shiny edge. So I don't know. It depends on. I like the way that
Depends on
looks
what you want.
better
Yeah.
than the other one.
Is that helpful?
But
Maybe a little bit. You can see the woolly nylon is a fluffy thread.
and the other one I like a little bit better
The
the way
Metroflock.
it looks.
And you have to
On
adjust your
the-
tension on the serger when you do
Yeah,
that.
So do you lower
Depending
this
on-
tension? You
on
lower
the
it. Okay.
upper. But depending on which serger you're using.
Okay.
So it just depends on your taste, which one you like better.
Okay.
The woolly nylon is more dull, and the other is more shiny.
Yeah. I could see
And-
using the woolly nylon in the serger, like napkins and
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a
Rolled
really nice
edges.
filled-in rolled edge,
yeah.
which you really can't get so much with regular thread.
No, you're always gonna have a gap.
It's always going to
Yeah.
get gabosis.
Okay.
All right.
So that's our
Soldier
woolly
onward.
fluffies.
Let's go to the other serger thread.
Okay. So now we have other serger thread.
Normal.
Now this is your standard bargain bin serger thread. Nothing wrong with it for sergers. This is by Maxilock, but it does break fairly easily.
I'm having a hard time with your.
Oops.
There we
There
go.
we go. So it breaks fairly easily. And
I would not sew with that on the sewing machine.
Yeah.
well, I do, but I don't sew seams with it. What I do with this is like top stitching. When I'm making those bags and I'm piecing it and I need to quilt it down, I'll use this for quilting.
I would think it's going to break.
But that's not going to get any stress at all. Because
I
it's
would
just
think
the
it
outside of a bag.
I know, but I think on the outside of the bag it's still going to break.
Well, I
It's
haven't
not
had
gonna
any
wear-
problems with it.
I think it's not going to wear well.
Oh, I don't keep them that long. I get tired of it. It goes someplace else.
Because I just wouldn't recommend it because it's just lightweight.
Not what it's designed
lightweight,
for.
cheap thread
Yeah.
that's designed to be used with
With
three
three
or
or
four
four threads.
threads.
Yeah.
So it's
That's what gives
not.
it the strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think if you were holding on to if you were using it for a hot pad, you were holding on to it, and the stretch on the back, I think it's gonna break when you're folding in half like this. I think
Okay.
it's gonna break if you move it. I think
I
if it has
haven't
any
had that
movement, it's gonna
experience, but I
break.
wouldn't put it past the thread.
If you're not,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
not looking at it close enough to see it, probably.
No, I don't care at that point. The project's done. You know, I'm done. Okay.
So
Now this is also
come
a
down.
serger thread.
This is the Mettler serger threaded. Mettler serger thread
Oh man,
over
it's a
time.
lot stronger.
It's a lot more strong. They advertise it as being more strong.
Oh, it does.
Of course,
still
it
is.
costs
breaks.
way
yeah,
more.
I really
It
have
was,
to pull on it to break it, though. I mean, the Maxi Lock, I don't have to pull very hard. I can just put a little bit of pressure. Boom,
Yeah.
it breaks. This one, I've really got to pull to break it.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if you're gonna use a serger
Yeah.
thread,
I
I
could
would
use
use
this
that.
one for sewing.
exactly you can, and they do advertise that you can use that for sewing.
That's actually a
does.
nice thread. I like the feel of it.
It is a nice thread.
It's 100% polyester.
When they changed it, when they
nice.
went to those tall cones, I believe they changed the thread, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's a nice
Anyway.
thread. I wouldn't have any problems using this for sewing
Yeah,
or quilting.
or quilting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very nice thread.
I'd use it for quilting and not sewing.
it's a little bit more expensive.
Ah.
Eh. Yeah.
Already talked about this one. Okay. So, Barbara, I'm going to let you talk about this one. This is water soluble thread.
It's called Vanish. There's probably other water soluble threads too.
Yeah, Vanish.
So,
You c-
typically,
I think we used,
we used
it
it
in the
in
Hoop
Hoop
Sisters.
Sisters. So if it's like in when you're doing embroidery projects that you, so it dissolves. So if it's things that are going to come out, and you don't want to have to pull it out. If it's basting stitches and stuff like that, and you don't want to have to pull it out in those projects that are panels, squares,
Yeah.
Yeah, like Anita
like
Good Design,
Anita
where
Good
they
Design,
do
where
these
you
big
do all the
pictures,
pictures, and
all
you have
that.
Right.
you have the stitching all around it, so you can see where you're supposed to stitch
Oh,
together,
gotcha.
and then you have to pull that out.
yeah.
If you use the invisible thread in the bobbin, usually you use it in the bobbin or in the top. I don't recall.
the water
I think in the
soluble?
I think
I
we
think
usually
in the
put
bobbin.
Really?
I feel
Oh.
like I use it in the bobbin.
haven't
But
done
maybe you
it
can
so
use it in
long.
the thread. I haven't used it in a while either. But
Okay.
anyway, then you just get it wet, and that just
Then you
comes
don't have to
out
go
then, and
pick
you don't
out
have
all
to go
those-
pick
Yeah, you
out
don't
all
have to
those
pick out
threads.
all
Oh,
that.
that's nice. I like that.
And
So-
you can use it in trapunto, because
How
you're
would you
doing
do
it.
that?
You just sew around your edge, because you have to cut all that big thick batting away before you do your permanent stitches.
Okay.
And that way you don't have to, if you're basting like type stuff, you're going to see that.
But if you
With
use
the
the
permanent
invisible
stitches,
thread,
so
I
this-
think that's in the needle then on the top.
I think it's a needle.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
so
makes
then it's
sense.
on, if you use it in the needle,
Goes
it's
in.
on the top, then it's in the bobbin, and it's just underneath, and
Yeah.
it just dissolves, and you don't see the bobbin
And you
thread
wouldn't
underneath.
have to have it in both the top and the bottom
No.
because if it dissolves in one area, the other one's just going to fall out anyway.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's just going to be in your
In the sandwich.
in the sandwich, and so
Yeah.
you're not going to see it. So there's a lot of different places you can use it where you just don't want to have to pull out the stitches
Yeah.
because it's a big pain in the butt.
Right.
So you just get it wet and they're just gone.
I like that. Okay.
I
So,
haven't
yeah.
I haven't tried it in garment sewing, but I bet you could do it if you baste in the sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you wouldn't have to
Then
pull
you
out
wouldn't
the
have to pull out the
stitching.
Don't make a
Basting
swimsuit
stitches.
out of it.
Yeah.
No, don't make a
Yeah.
swimsuit out of it unless you don't like the person
Yeah, then you can.
or
make
you
a
want a good
swimsuit.
laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Next one we have is an elastic
Then we
thread.
go to one.
Yeah. So this is, let's get down here. This is an elastic thread. It stretches.
I don't think you sew it in the needle.
No, I think it's in the bobbin.
Okay,
You can
so
put it in the
would wind
bobbin,
it
or you can
regularly,
couch
just-
over it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if
You
you
can put it in the
couch over
bobbin and do ruching with it.
Ruching.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Let me check here for a minute.
Because in the bobbin, it's still going to be in the stitch, and it's going to squish those
Yeah.
stitches together.
Yep.
Now, would this be as tight as gathering, or not? Or does that depend on how you set your tension?
No, because gathering is usually permanent. The ruching give and take. Like I have a blouse with it on the sleeve, and it'll give and
Oh,
take
I
and
see.
stretch
Yeah,
out.
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
It's called shearing when you use it in the bobbin. It creates stretchy gathered rows.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
You do have to wind the bobbin by hand, just like the woolly nylon.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't stretch it when you wind it.
Now that would be kind of nice. Now I understand what you're saying about the difference between gathers. Gathers, it's a one-shot deal. It stays that way. It doesn't move.
Yeah, and this moves.
This one would gather, but it would also stretch as you move.
Now, I don't know if you would put the bobbin, you'd have to. Pardon me. I don't know if you'd put it in the bobbin tension.
Oh.
Yeah,
You'd have to test
that.
it out.
Yeah. Do a little practice.
Yep.
Practice. So okay. Fun thread.
I haven't done it in a long time.
I've never used it. It's interesting to me. I like just playing.
You can
with it.
also couch over something like that, which means like zigzag over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Invisible.
Next we have invisible threads. Oh, I can't tell if I'm.
Hold on a
in the
second.
Space.
Let me finish my coughing fit and then I'm back.
You're good.
I don't know what. I got something. I was telling them I'm allergic to corn, so sometimes I get stuff that I don't realize I got.
Yeah.
And recently I had a cup of tea, this Lipton blueberry flavored tea. Man, it was very good. Except then I was coughing and I looked at the box and guess what's in Lipton blueberry tea bags?
Corn starch
Cornstarch. Yes.
to keep the blueberry tea
Who would
flavoring
Put,
separate and dry.
I mean, why does it need to be dry in the
It's
tea
in
bag?
a tea bag.
It's
yeah.
a tea bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Go
Okay.
ahead. Squirrel
So
came by.
This is monofilament, also known as invisible thread.
I can see it. It's not invisible.
It is now. Okay.
Look, we have invisible thread. You can't see it.
Yeah, it's right
Oh
there.
my goodness.
Okay, but if you looked at it, okay, so
Down or
Okay.
up, whichever way it goes.
all right, you can't really here. I don't know how to show off invisible.
because you can't see
thread.
You'd have to.
All right, let's see. Okay, you can kind of see it against this red.
Yeah.
See that little white tail there? But when you put it against fabric and
It'll
you stitch,
disappear. You can't see
it does disappear. Now it does
It's
have a
great.
small sheen to it. So if you're doing
It's kind of shiny, so you can kind
decorative-
of see it.
decorative
Yeah.
stitching, you'll see it. Now it comes in two colorways. We have clear, which works on all of your medium to light fabrics. And then there is smoke. And smoke has a slight gray hue to it, which you can kind of see on this. Can you see that?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I
you
saw.
can
I
see
can
it,
see
yeah.
it move.
Okay. It won't show up on dark fabrics.
Yeah.
Dark blues, dark greens, browns, blacks, dark grays. I buy one of each because when I'm doing applique and stuff, sometimes you have dark areas you need to use it on. Sometimes you have light areas, but then it makes your applique look like it's just floating.
Move down a
Yeah.
bit.
So,
So yeah, for applique, it's really good because you really can't see the stitches with it.
right. I have used it on quilting. If there's a lot of color in the quilt top and the customer doesn't know what color to go, or if there's applique on the quilt but they're big pieces and there needs to be stitching, I'll use the monofilament in those areas to hold it down. I haven't had any problems with breakage.
No, it's
or
usually pretty
anything.
good at, and it seems to hold up. I like there's a whole bunch of different brands, but I like the YLI. That's
Yeah.
YLI, right?
This is Mettler.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I did switch over to liking that better, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have one at home. I don't remember what it's called, but
I don't like the smaller diameter spools.
yeah.
Those are fatter spools. Because it
doesn't
tends to
twist as
be,
much.
it gets a twist. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the little small spools, we don't really have a small spool we could show you right here, but
But they kind of look
they're-
like
they
this.
kinda look like
yeah,
that, 'cause
they're
it's-
smaller than
It's
that.
YLI,
Right.
so it kind of looks
So
like
it gets a real big.
It gets a twirly,
It's like your
a,
hair.
Yeah, like my hair. Here we go. It's curly.
Yeah, all curly like that,
Yeah.
and I don't really like it all curly.
Well, I don't either, but I was born
I
this
like your
way.
hair like that. I just mean I don't like the thread
No,
like
I
that.
know
Come
it.
on now.
Now, when I use it in quilting, and I don't know if you can use it in top and bobbin at the same time, but I typically do not.
I did take a class with a teacher, and you use a 60 weight needle, by the way. He says, the guy I took the class from, and we quilted the quilt with the invisible thread with a 60 weight needle, top and bobbin.
Ah. So I usually use
Yes.
a cotton or poly thread in the bobbin,
Yeah.
and then I'll use this in the top.
He used it in the bobbin too.
Nice.
He was a really good teacher. I wish he hadn't moved back east.
Well, I might have to make a small project and try that in both,
Yeah.
because I'd like to see how that works out.
But yeah,
Okay.
60 weight needle.
Okay.
Not
I don't
weight.
have that for my quilting machine, but
60, size 60 needle.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you probably can't go that small in your quilting machine.
I don't think so. I think 80 is about as small as it
Huh.
goes.
Interesting.
Okay. Next we have
Metallic.
Hmm?
I would do
metallics.
metallic.
Okay, we'll do the metallics next. Well, we already talked about that one. So okay, so metallic thread. Now this is an embroidery thread. This is.
I mean,
Yes, but I'm looking to see if it's polyester or rayon. It doesn't tell me. It just says metallic.
they've usually got, it's a core, and they usually
And
put
it's
something
wrapped
around,
with
and
the-
it's wrapped.
Yeah, but is it a poly core
That I
or a
don't know.
rayon core? I
Let me
would
see
guess
if I
that
can
it's
tell.
a poly core.
Yeah.
But the rayon, I mean the metallic threads. Are
But
like
isn't the
Barbara
Hemingworth
says.
poly?
I think
I think
so.
so.
Or is it rayon?
I think it's
I
poly.
think it's poly. Okay, so this one has a loop. There we go. All right. And this one is by Wonderfill. This is a 40 weight
Spotlight.
metallic.
Yeah.
And this one's actually pretty nice. If you look at it real close, you can see that there is a twist to it
I'm going
because
to
the metallic portion is actually wrapped around the core or the
I
fiber.
have
in
really
the
good
thread.
luck with the
Yeah, I like the spotlight.
that thread.
Yeah, it's a nice thread. Now, I have heard, and Sally says it's not important, but I heard that if you're working on a machine with metallic thread, it should be placed in front of the machine so that it spools off this way rather than laying flat this way. I don't know why it would make a difference, but
So you just
Well,
put it
you
on your thread
shouldn't be
stand.
yeah.
laying it sideways in the first place anyway, because that kind of spool isn't designed to
Yeah,
be laid
no.
flat sideways. First
Right.
of all, you want it to have a certain amount of distance so that it can straighten out
right?
between. You definitely don't need to with your Epic or your Icon.
Right, because
With
those
the
have the
s-
thread
those have
stands
the
on
thread
them.
stands. Wonderfill makes spool holder thingies that go on the machines, designed for the metallic threads that work very nicely.
Yeah.
I really haven't had any problems with those threads needing to have long-winded lengths to
I did find
get
when I was working on
to get
an older
the
machine with metallic thread, and I put it in, not this kind of cone, but a different spool. It was, oh, I dropped the one that was like, it would twist on me if I put it in the machine like this. So I did find that it was helpful to sit it in
Yeah.
front and do this and feed it vertically
Well, and
rather than
here's another
horizontally.
interesting tip. Now, you notice how you're notice how it's spooling off the let me get back here. It's the Hemingworth is poly. I don't know if they make Hemingworth anymore. By the way. By the by. All right. So, move down. Okay. Now,
Might
spool.
be easier to see with something like this. You're talking about it being crosswound?
No. Yeah. So if you're pulling it off, pull it off towards you. Just pull it off. Keep on pulling. Okay. See how it's getting bigger. Okay. Now, turn it around and so that the other end is pointing that way.
I'm
And
pulling it
now-
this way?
Yeah. And now pull it. Pull.
Okay.
Now see how it's spooling off.
Yeah, it's
Bigger.
twisting more.
It's twisting more.
Ah.
So you sometimes you might need if you're putting something like that which is not designed to spool off
Backwards.
sideways like that.
Yeah.
It's designed to spool off with a spool standing straight up and down. So if your machine needs that, and I know this from Madeira, those threads have to be on the spool pin one way, the right way, with the thread coming off in the right direction, because if you have them coming off the wrong direction, it's like a lasso thing. So it just
Okay.
gets on getting bigger and bigger and bigger till you get a huge mess
So
coming off the thread. On
Okay.
a little spool thing like that one right in front of you,
This
even
one?
on that
Okay.
kind of spool, it'll spool off. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger.
So let's see. If I spool it this direction, that looks pretty good. Alright, let's see if I turn it around.
See, that's kind of spooling
It is a
like
little
a
bigger.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you
So
might
it's
need
supposed to go
to
this way. Okay.
turn it around. So if you're having trouble, you might turn your spool around so the spool, turn it the other way. Flip it backwards.
I don't remember which was backwards.
I mean, flip it, I just mean reverse it
Okay.
on the spool pin
Oh yeah.
so that it doesn't, so it's not spooling off so much thread all at once.
Okay.
Because it kind of like, it's like,
So it
Just-
doesn't make big loopies when
Exactly.
it's coming off the spool.
because it just does that. And so,
Well, in some thread, like the Gutermann thread, you really kind of have to test that because it doesn't. There's no indication on the spool.
well, no, the
itself.
spool doesn't tell you.
No.
I don't remember on the Madeira. I think the Madeira might have said on the website which way you needed to put it on the spool pin,
Okay.
as I
But
recall.
most of the threads I use come on these little cones, and so I always just
Yes.
set them
Yeah,
down.
they need to
and-
be straight
spool
up
them
and
off.
down.
Now, these. Okay, we talked about this one. This is a metallic thread. You can tell by the sheen. Way off.
I'm
Okay. Sorry.
Here
You
you
can
go.
tell by the sheen too. So.
And I don't know if it's wrapped or not. I can't tell from Hemingworth's website. It's not.
yeah.
It's not responsive.
Metallic threads are fun to play with. Now, I do turn the speed on my machine down.
I do too.
And
When
you
I'm-
should probably.
And they also
when I'm
make a
doing
metallic
embroidery.
embroidery needle too.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, good to know. Good Good to know. Okay, so this is embroidery thread. This is Robeson Anton rayon embroidery thread. Now the rayon embroidery thread sheen is a little bit glossier than
Yeah,
the
shinier.
polyester embroidery thread. My experience has been it's not as strong. It
No.
breaks easier. But it does make beautiful stitches when you get it to stay stitching. So that's the rayon embroidery. I would not use rayon thread for clothing or
No.
bag making or anything like that. I will use it for embroidery, but I don't use it for anything
And
else.
if you're going to do kids embroidery that gets washed a lot, use poly, because rayon won't hold up as much.
Okay, so it breaks down in the wash. Okay, good to know.
The color,
The
the
color might
rayon
bleed.
is more color fast, isn't it?
No, poly is.
Poly is? Okay.
Poly's more color faster. That one might bleed a little bit.
Oh,
You Put
okay.
it on white, and it might be a little pink on the white part.
Oh, good to know. Thank you, Barbara.
'Cause
You're
it's
just a wealth of information
It's a
tonight.
natural fiber
Right.
made out
And
of tree
it-
bark.
And if you get that thread wet,
Mm-hmm.
it will break way more easily.
Okay.
So like if you got your fingers wet, like if you can pull on it. So if you first of all if you pull on it to break it before you get it wet,
Okay, let's see.
you can test it.
It breaks pretty easily.
Okay, and then get it wet.
All right, let me try just wetting my fingers on this little area. Oh yeah, that breaks super easy.
Right. So when you get it wet, it really breaks. So you don't want to be using that somewhere. That's why it's really just embroidery thread.
Yeah.
That's all you should be using it
Not
for.
even for quilting. You don't even
No,
want to
I
use it
wouldn't
for
think
quilting.
so. Not if it breaks that easily when it's getting wet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, when you get it wet, it breaks super easy.
Now this thread, it's a 40 weight polyester triable thread. This is by Glide.
That's my favorite thread.
It's
One of
my favorite
favorites.
thread. It comes in a multitude of colors.
And you can sew seams with that thread. It's a
Oh,
40
'cause
weight.
it's
It's a
a
little
I
heavy
use
heavy
it
though.
for everything. I use it for construction. I use it for embroidery. It does a beautiful job on embroidery. I use it for long arm quilting. I mean,
Yeah.
I use it for everything. It's a great thread. It's called Glide. It's 40 weight triable polyester, which means there's 3 strands in it. It's a very strong thread. I mean, if I come out here and try to break it, yeah, I have to put a lot of pressure on to get it to break. It's a strong thread. It's a good all-purpose use for everything thread. Now, one thing I will say though, when I'm doing embroidery and I have lettering that is a 1/2 inch or less, I do not use this thread because it's slightly too thick. So I would use either 80 or 100 weight thread
Yes.
to use the small lettering because it gives you a much sharper image. Or if you have like snowflakes or something that have
Mhm.
a lot of intricate detail in them, you want to use an 80 or 100 weight thread. Because if you look at the threads, I don't know if we can get a good picture of this. This is 40 weight thread. Let's see if I can get it to show on this.
Get it over on there and then I'll zoom in.
Okay. So, 100 weight.
Can't even see it.
I know,
Yeah.
it's so fine. 40 weight.
Okay, and
And
one
this is 80 weight. So you can see the difference between the 40 weight and the 80 weight. You can't see the 100 weight just because it's a very light gray thread. Can you see that?
Just
Tiny,
barely.
tiny.
I can only see it when you move it.
Yeah. So I'll move it over a little bit.
there we
we
go.
go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, the 100 weight thread, you should only use it in the top or the bobbin, not both.
I typically only use
Use
it
it
in the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the 40 weight thread, which is this dark one in the middle, I use that for, I'd say, 99% of my embroidery.
Yeah.
And I use it, like I said, for sewing and for quilting. I use it for a lot of stuff. It's great thread.
Most of my quilting I have been doing with my piecing. I use the 60 weight because I really like the thin thread because I like the flat
Yeah.
seam that I get.
Yeah. Now this Deco Bob, this last one here,
That is
this
80
one,
weight.
that's 80 weight thread. That's a nice thread for seaming,
Yeah, it's
piecing
also
quilts,
good
too.
too.
because it makes the seams nice
And it's a good
flat.
bobbin thread.
Yeah. I don't think I would necessarily use 100 weight thread for seams for piecing.
No, it's probably not the
It's-
best.
It's
but
actually going to throw your seam off because usually when they say 1/4 inch, they're thinking
it's not
of,
going to take anything up for a seam, I'll tell
Yeah,
you that much.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it does. Because the other thicker threads take up a little
Well, the
seam.
60 weight doesn't take up much for a seam
No,
either.
and a 50 weight won't.
But if your seams are all the same,
That's
It
what you
should-
have to
it
You
go
just
by.
have to
matter.
measure to make sure you're
But when they
taking the
say
right amount
finished
of
block
seam.
of 6, yours might not be.
mine might be 6 and 1/8.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's gonna
Yeah.
take
Because,
take that
and a
in.
lot of people don't realize what Barbara's talking about is when you sew two pieces of fabric together and then you press over the seam allowance, that thread that's in there
Is taking up
is
Take up
taking up
space.
space. And so you can't really get it to 0. It's going to have that
if you're
much
using that
height
100 weight thread, you
taken
can
out.
get it to 0.
Yeah,
Right. But with the 100 weight thread, you can get a lot closer.
yeah.
So the thicker your thread, for example, okay, we'll use this 40 weight thread and we'll fold it over and you can see that the thread does take up, if I can get in the right space, the thread does take up a little bit of space. Now, to show you what I'm talking about, this is a 12 weight thread, so it's considerably thicker. When I sew the seam with the 12 weight thread, you can see that it takes up a lot more space than the thinner threads. So it's going to reduce the size of the block once you turn it over because it's got more area to get around
Yes.
to close that seam
And you
open.
do that with a whole half a dozen things, and you're gonna have a difference in your
Right.
block.
Right. Okay. But I do like the 100 weight thread and the 80 weight thread. I use them for top stitching sometimes if I don't want it to show a whole lot. I really like it for embroidery when I'm doing fine detailed
Yeah,
stuff or small
mainly
lettering.
names,
Yeah.
because a
Well,
lot
I
of times
figure
they'll
if
have
the
names.
if the embroidery letters are small, like a 1/4 inch, I can't use a big thread. You won't be able to see anything. It'll just be all
Lumpy.
blurred together.
It looks gloppy.
And another tip on doing small letters like that, turn your thread cutter off
Oh, yeah.
because you'll get a thread nest behind each
Yes.
letter, and if you don't turn the thread cutter off, it's a mess on the
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
So turn it off and then just clip the tiny threads on the front if you even need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is glide thread. Let's see if I can get this in here. Not in focus, but this is glide. It's my favorite thread. And it's very reasonable. Very reasonable. Okay, we need to back out on the camera a little bit. We've talked about those, we've talked about this. Last type of thread we have to talk about is a heavier weight thread. Now this is a 12 weight thread, I think we said, for the
Yes.
razzle. Okay.
No, razzle is 8 weight.
8 weight. Okay, so this is 8 weight. This one
That's
was this,
Robinson Anton. That's a twister thread where they take two different
It's
colors.
and I
40
think that
weight.
was 20, wasn't it?
No,
that's
40.
Oh, it's 40. Okay. But this is rayon, you said.
Yes.
Okay. So embroidery only with this one. And then this one is
Pearl Crown Rayon.
Pearl Crown Rayon. Thank you. My brain was just on a little hiatus.
Usually I use it in the upper looper and the serger.
Well, you know what we use this for in class is when we're doing the 7-hole cording foot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really nice thread to do something like that. And the thing is, you can feed it through the foot and let it spool off the bobbin in a tray on your lap or whatever,
Yeah.
and then cut it when you're done. You don't have to cut a specific length of it. We do in class because I have to thread several feet at one time. But you can see these are fun, more decorative.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure if the 8 will go through a needle. Will it, Sally? The 8?
I don't think you can put 8 through a needle.
Okay. What about
Even a
this
top
20?
stitch.
The 12?
Yes, 12 you can
12
put.
you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all day long.
Okay. So, that's what I have for you on thread.
Does anybody have any questions? Nobody ever asks us any questions. I don't know. Are you guys afraid we'll bite your heads off?
I think we should have a quiz at the end. Who answers the quiz?
Wins a prize. All right. Well, no one seems to have any questions. Come back to Tim. We probably babbled on or rambled on. Oh, plenty long, almost an hour. Good grief.
Really, it didn't seem like
Didn't
that
feel
long.
like that. Yeah, we can talk. We
You're
can
moving
talk.
pretty good through this stuff.
Okay, so we are going to say goodbye. If you
Bye.
would please
Bye.
put something in the chat about something you'd like us to talk about. We just had a discussion about thread earlier in the day, so that's what came up. We heard that Brother Machines, we were told that Brother Machines can't use 12-weight thread, so we were surprised by that. But
Oh.
anyway, that's what one
I
of the
didn't know
owners,
that either.
one of the owners of one of the other shops told one of our customers. So I was surprised by that, but well.
Well, lots of different threads you can play with.
Yep. And we will see you next Thursday here. And hopefully we'll have something interesting to talk about. If you would let us know what you want us to talk about, then we will talk about something that will be interesting to you. Possibly.
We love your suggestions.
Yep.
Or
All right.
questions or anything like that. What?
I'll tell you later. Talk to you later. Have a great week.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, what'd I say?
Just a second.
She's gotta get off first.
I gotta get off first.